What happened to tweens and preteens? One minute you're playing dress up and watching cartoons on the TV, watching these commercials for toys you want to play with and the latest episode of your favorite TV show or even the rerun. And now tweens are going to Sephora and vlogging their life. Where did we go wrong? Hi, I'm Jaden. I make commentary videos on culture, media, and kind of whatever's just kind of going on in the world. And today I want to talk to you about tweens and the preteen era and what happened to it when I was a preteen, because it is drastically different now, and preteens look like 16-year-olds, and I don't know what happened. So, when I was a preteen in the early mid-2000s, this is what I looked like. And this is what preteens and tweens look like now. There is a very big difference, and I know a lot of people agree with me on this, and there's a lot of factors that explain why this has happened, and honestly it is kind of sad when you think about it, because these kids are losing their youth. They all just look like young adults now, and they didn't get to experience that weird, awkward phase of figuring out who you are and playing with makeup and playing dress up and still telling stories with your imagination and going to the mall or the park with your friends. Now it's all just posting TikToks and dancing and doing makeup tutorials, and that's kind of sad. So I believe that one of the key indicators of why tweens have changed so much is definitely social media. Because the current generation of tweens and preteens were the iPad kids. That's Generation Alpha. They grew up on social media. Now, when I was a preteen, social media was still fairly new. I remember when Instagram first came out. I'm too young for MySpace, but I was part of the Instagram generation, right? So I remember when that first came out and everyone was just posting funny photos of whatever they were doing with their friends, or photos of their pets, or just a photo of their room. And it was just really wholesome because you could just see what your friends were up to, and it was really fun and cute. But now kids are posting their outfits and their makeup, and it's so different, and everyone's just highly edited in their photos, and everything's just so manufactured now. It's crazy. So, social media. We know it affects people. There have been studies on this that shows social media is an addiction, and these kids that grew up using their iPads all the way through their childhood, which are their most what's the word? Most developmental years. Developmental. That word. Their most developmental years. They spent that on social media instead of using their imagination and exploring the world and playing and interacting with people and things. Now, they're all focused on what's on social media. They're only watching teenagers and adults because most social media do have an age limit. You have to be 13 unless you have parents' permission to post, which we know no one's following, okay? I didn't even follow that. I made Facebook when I was 12, but that's beside the point. The thing is that these kids don't even have public places to go to, which is a topic I've read a lot about, is how public places just aren't a thing anymore. I don't know if public place is the word I'm thinking of, but they don't have anything outside of their home, school, and social media. Kids don't go to malls as much anymore. They barely go to parks. And there's no places for kids just to be kids and to just explore themselves and build that imagination. And parks nowadays as well have gotten so safety guarded that there's not even a lot of things they can do there. Does anyone else remember the metal slide and how painful that thing was? Because now slides are just small and plasticky, and they don't get to experience getting hurt and being oh, it's not a big deal. Now they get a paper cut and they're oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. It's wild. One of the other big differences between when I was a tween versus tweens now is the media they're consuming, because I did consume social media and television when I was a preteen, but the stuff I was consuming was very, very different from what kids are watching now. Because if you grew up in my generation, you know Disney Channel and Nickelodeon shows were the thing, you know? Hannah Montana, denim overpants, the little scarves, you know, that's how you get your fashion inspo, is by these like family-friendly outfits that you'd see on TV because they didn't want to portray preteens being provocative in any kind of way because they don't want children to dress like that, and then, you know, people are creepy, so that's why. And so preteens would get inspired by stuff like that. In those preteen magazines like Tiger Beat and Discovery Girls, Teen Vogue, Cosmopolitan, all these like fun little magazines that have like little quizzes and little posters of your favorite celebrities, and like fashion actually catered to your age group. And that's not really a thing anymore, because now kids are just gonna go on like Pinterest and TikTok and see like, oh, this is trending, I'm gonna go buy this in Shein, and then that's it, they call it a day. Another thing is that a lot of kids have unlimited access to media and to money. Not every kid, I definitely understand, everyone does have different like financial relationships, but the ones you mostly see online are kids that are definitely more well off, and their parents don't mind spending a lot of money on things for them. So now you start seeing kids with designer items and their giant, giant Sephora collections, all the skincare you could imagine. When I was a preteen, I was using Clean and Clear. It was the Clean and Clear Morning Burst and the Clean and Clear Nighttime Relaxing one. Had like little beads in it for the morning one. That's what I was using, because kids don't need actual skincare. They don't need to use retinol. That is... Why are kids using retinol? Kids should be outside and playing. They do not need to use retinol, which is actually going to damage their skin. When they're older, it's going to damage their skin while they're young. It's not good, and kids should be outside, and the sun will make retinol bad if they don't use sunscreen, and it's just... I can't. Okay, that one just really gets me, okay? And also, when you think about marketing towards preteens and teens, you don't see anything actually marketed to that demographic anymore. Does anyone else remember Justice or Claire's? Because those were two very big stores when I was a kid. I loved Justice. I remember I had this blue zip-up jacket, and it was written in glitter words, and it said gymnast, because I was a gymnast. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this, it's so cute. And I'd wear like pastel colored jeans and those shirts with like cringy words on them, but like that was fun because I was still a kid. I was experimenting with what kind of colors I like to wear, what I wanted to represent myself with, and how I wanted to be expressed and seen through these fun, colorful accessories. And like Claire's, I had like those earrings that were like burgers, and like earrings that were like little butterflies, and just cute fun stuff like that. All the little hair clips. Oh my gosh, I remember the hair clips. But now kids are on TikTok. They have all these beauty influencers they can follow. They're doing wind eyeliner by the time they're 10. I couldn't even do wind eyeliner until I was like 15. Anyways, that's just me projecting. But without any of these actual companies being able to market to the preteen and tween demographic, they've had to shut down and just kind of move into more like chain stores. Like I was at Walmart the other day buying groceries, and I saw they had a little booth for like Claire's earrings and like a little section of like Justice necklaces, and that was it. That's all you got. But like these stores were like big and they were fun. And then even like Victoria's Secret Pink, that one, I would say it was for like the older tweens of my time, because that's when you get like your first like training bra. It would be like a sports bra kind of situation. You would have like the cute little sweaters that had like the little Victoria's Secret dog on them, and it would just say like pink on the, like across. It was just like athleisure wear, but it was still like fun and more youthful. But now those kids are just going to like regular Victoria's Secret and buying stuff that's a little too mature for them, especially if they're not fully developed, and that's also expensive. I've seen a lot of people online bashing the Gen Alpha kids because they are more mature now, you know, they look older, they look more put together. But it's also like, I don't think we need to bash the kids, because ultimately it's not their fault. Like, they don't know any better. They learned from social media on how they want to be perceived and the right ways to do stuff. That's just how it is. Like how we were all influenced by Disney Channel shows and magazines showing us what they were trying to sell to us that we would buy. That's how it is now. The only difference is kids are just more grown up. There's more access to things out here now. It's not like how it used to be where social media was still new and the addiction wasn't fully set into your brain yet. So kids would just go out and they would play, they'd go to skate parks and just like kind of go out with friends. But now hanging out, it can be expensive to go out with friends, so now kids are just gonna stay at each other's house and film TikToks. And like, it's not necessarily a bad thing because they're still spending time with each other, they are bonded over common interests, and they do have unlimited access to whatever they want to learn about. But I just feel like it needs a bit more control, I guess is a good way to put it, because you don't want your kids to look at stuff that they shouldn't be looking at or following influencers that might be a little negative to watch. I know TikTok has some pretty awful influencers on there that you definitely don't want your kids to look up to and try to copy. TikTok also really has a bad problem of promoting unhealthy eating habits and body image issues and stereotyping people. And that's just not good. And if I had a child, I would not want them to consume that kind of media. I feel like it's still really important for preteens to play. I played with dolls up until I was like 15. You don't even see like toys really anymore. Like, you don't see kids playing with dolls or trucks or action figures or any of those like fun online virtual websites. Does anyone else remember Barbie Girls and My Scene and everything girlygirl.com? Those sites were my jam. But now kids are watching shows like Euphoria and they're just on TikTok and watching whatever's like the hottest show, and that's about it. They're not fully getting anything catered to them. And honestly, that's not on us. That's not necessarily on the parents. It's not on the kids. It's kind of just like society, because like they want to market to specific demographics, and I'm guessing from like what I could read and like from my research is that like the tween demographic was just too small, because tweens are only ages like, I guess like 8, 9-ish to like 13 or 12. And the teen market was a little bit bigger and kind of went into young adulthood. So marketing people just decided it's easier to lump tweens and teens together because you have the young kids who watch like Cocomelon and stuff, and then they just want teens and tweens to kind of be their own thing because that's like the slightly older kids. And then you have adults, and then, yeah. For marketing wise, it's easier for them. It's not as expensive for them to just narrow down what demographic they want to market to, because if they narrow it down too much, then they're spending more money on like supplies and models and all this like complicated stuff that you do when you're running a business. So I feel like it's just a budget cuts kind of thing, because this isn't how it used to be, and that's just how it is now. And you know, you can still learn something from younger kids. They have a lot of wisdom, oddly enough. Like, people hate on Gen Alpha kids a lot, but they're not dumb. They're actually kind of like, some of them are really smart. I mean, like, of course you'll get some that are not as motivated to pursue things, but they're kids. Let them be kids. Let them explore. Let them try to figure out who they are. It's so important that we just let kids have the space to like explore and learn and grow. And yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on this. I don't fully have a conclusion on this topic other than tweens have disappeared. They're now just teenagers, and that's not our fault. That's just how it is. That's just, I feel like it's all just like for marketing, honestly, because it's more cost efficient. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. that's pretty much all I have to say on this topic. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What was it like when you were a tween, and what do you think of tweens in this current generation? Do you have any thoughts? Was there anything I missed? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and thumbs up. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!